What you have heard is also wisdom. I was given credit for sharing wisdom with you, but wisdom comes from practice. And this is what we heard from Daycha, that he brings technique, appropriate technology, technique. Gandhi was not against technology. Sustainability and ecology is not against technology. But what kind of technology that we have and what we should have, this is the great challenge. And therefore, in small is beautiful principle, appropriate technology. Technology which helps human hands to make things a bit more easier is good technology. But technology which replaces human hands and makes human hands redundant, that is a bad technology. So human hands are, in fact, in itself, in themselves, are a kind of technology. So we are replacing this natural technology with artificial technology. So using your computer as you use, there's nothing wrong with using technology, using computer wisely, appropriately, when it is really necessary. Not all the time, just using your computer, everything. But use your, like, for example, we were talking, one of the professors talked about people have forgotten to read books. We don't read books. We don't read classics. We don't read, I mean, in England, people don't read anymore properly Shakespeare or Dostoevsky or Tolstoy. And in China, I don't know how many people, in Taiwan, how many people read classics like Lao Tzu and Tao and Heart Sutra. And even if you do remember them, how do you appreciate them, understand them, read the commentary on it? So we are replacing human ingenuity, human talent, human imagination at the name of progress, in the name of development, in the name of technology and computer systems and all that. So I think one of the points I would like to respond to in Daycha's talk was that this is a right and appropriate use of technology. If we can do that, then technology can be help. Machine can be help. But who is in charge? Is machine in charge of the society and humans, or is the humans are in charge of machine, and machine is serving humankind rather than humanity serving the machine? And even the economy has become a big machine, and we have become a cog in the machine. So the humanity, if we lose humanity, what is there to help technology? But if technology is there to help humanity and help the environment, help the earth, then it is a good technology. So I think that is a very important point that I would like to respond. And the other point you made beautifully is that this crazy idea that somehow America is advanced, America has all the answers, and the whole world should follow American model. That is a completely wrong, almost a propaganda. It's a wrong propaganda. Each country, each region, each nation, they have their own genius, they have own tradition, they have their own climate, they have own the quality of soil. And so you have to create your culture and your agriculture, your industry, your crafts, your music, everything dependent on the climate and the conditions of this place. So a sense of place, I would like to call that a sense of place. Having a sense of place, we have lost. We have no place. We are placeless. So economy should be based in the place. And so Taiwan is the place, and we belong to this place. And creating that sense of place and developing culture, agriculture, crafts, arts, industry, technology to suit this place, and not copy in the name of progress and development, WTO and the international trade, and international treaty, and this sort of kind of idea of progress like development, also a misguided idea. We have become this linear society, going from producing, mining, first of all, from the nature, taking forests down, mining in Australia or in other countries, and taking things, making things, using, and then throwing away. Our society is a waste-making society. I would allow all consumption is good if it does not produce waste. Wasteless consumption is good. I'm not against consumerism or consumption, as long as you can guarantee that there will be no waste. There will be no harm to nature. In nature, there is no waste. Nature is a complete cycle. It's not a linear economy of nature. Economy of nature is a cyclical economy. So you have a tree growing in the spring, all the production is there. All the production is happening. Leaves are coming, the buds are coming, the fruits coming, and the fruits ripen, and the production is continuing. And then in the summer, they ripen even more. And all that apple and the mango which you are growing there, this is becoming from green to yellow to red to different colors of the fruit. And then suddenly it's production of nature is going on, and putting juice in it, and putting flavor in it, and putting aroma and fragrance in it. And then autumn comes, and we have that apple, and all those leaves are falling on the ground, and that ground is becoming nourished, and the roots are becoming nourished, and roots are being fed with the food of those leaves. And then in the winter time, it's all becoming strong again. All the sap is becoming strong again. And then again, you have a spring and growing again. This is the cycle of time, cycle of life, cycle of nature. So we have to learn from nature. Learning from nature is the human genius. At the moment, we have become too arrogant. Humans have become too arrogant. And we think technology will solve all the problems. Nature does not matter. It's the technology has all the answers. Global warming, climate change, technology will have the answer. Energy need, technology will have the answer. I think we have become too much dependent on technology and the linear economy. We need this cycle of economy. And in the cyclical economy, there is no waste. So if we can learn from nature and have no waste, then consumerism has no problem. Then technology has no problem. Then machine has no problem, as long as they serve humankind and they serve the natural environment and nature. And we respect the rights of nature, and we respect the integrity and the quality of nature. If we can do that, then I think you are absolutely right, that we can develop our own genius and our own culture of Taiwan. And this is a biodiversity. Cultural diversity, pluralism. At the moment, we are subject to this monoculture, this kind of sameness, same kind of genes made in America or somewhere, same kind of Coca-Cola everywhere, same kind of McDonald's everywhere. This kind of monoculture of the mind and monoculture of the goods and monoculture of society is destroying the biodiversity and the cultural diversity and the pluralism. And so we want a mental, intellectual, and material pluralism and diversity. If we can maintain that diversity, that is the true evolution. Evolution favors diversity. And monoculture, mechanized society destroys diversity. This is why we are losing biodiversity, and we are losing cultural diversity, and we are losing linguistic diversity. So it's wonderful to have so many languages, so many cultures, so many different ways of music, so many different ways of farming and agriculture, so many different ways of doing everything. That is the pluralistic truth. Truth is not single. It's wonderful to have so many religions like Buddhism and Christianity and Taoism and Hinduism and Jainism and Sikhism and Judaism and all that. In the same way, it's good to have different isms like, actually I don't like isms, this communism, capitalism. I would like to make all isms wasms. And so, but diversity is very dear to me. And cultural and biological diversity, if we can maintain that, then I think you in Taiwan can find beautiful solutions for your economy and for your agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Satish. 我们接着要让大家来表示意见或者是提出问题啊，那让大家今天这么多人来参加这一个演讲哈。那在那之前，我要这个请两位哈，请两位在座的先来表示一下意见哦。第一个我要请的哈是这个泰国米之神的这一个刚才 Daycha 所报告的这一些自然农法。事实上，刚才他也讲过，在台湾也在教导，也在有一些学习的机会。那在台湾 听说已经3年了，是不是？好，那在台湾也有一个这个自然农法的这个一个推广中心。那今天陈瑞芳瑞芳这个是总召集人，那是不是请你也跟大家分享一下好不好？好，来，我们请。
谢谢你的邀请，给我这样的一个机会呢，上台来讲几句话哦。那站在2位大师的前面呢，我想应该是要坐下来，还是要跪下来，是不是？我真的是不敢站得太高哈，不然我站在你的后面好了。我可以讲多久？3-5分钟。刚刚各位呢有听到，就是米志诚基金会的执行长 Daycha 先生呢，就是讲了他关于这个自然农法的一些基本的一个概念哦。那我想顺便就先讲一下，就说我们请这个 Daycha 先生到台湾来，3月开始呢，整整1个月呢，我们有一个全台湾的一个巡回的一个自然农法的一个教学。如果你们上那个网站，你打那个 KKF 自然农法，你会看到我们整个1个月的一个行程、一个教学。那我们明天呢就要下去到东部的那个玉里，还有鹿野，还有台东到资本呢，去有4天的课程。我想像今天的主要的主题呢，就是 Satish 先生呢在讲，这个土壤、灵魂跟我们的那个这个社群。其实呢，这个是息息相关的。同时呢，他也鼓励我们呢，用我们的手，用我们的心去接触我们的这个，这是我们的土地。那我们这个自然农法，我们在台湾为什么会来推行？其实呢，这里面呢有一个原因哦，就是我是总召。那我想当时想要做这件事的一个目的呢，就是说，我们对我们的台湾的土地呢，我们除了我不想说用抱怨这2个字哦，但是呢，我想每一个人如果能够尽你的心去做你可以做的事情，我想可以让我们的台湾更美好。所以呢，就是用一个这样子的想法，我开始呢想在台湾推动，就是这个自然农法。但是呢，这个自然农法谁在使用？就是我们的农民。大家呢都在找方法，希望呢可以说，如果我可以不用农药、不用化肥，然后呢来让我们的土地呢可以净化的话，那这是他们很想采用的。所以呢，我就想说，把我所从 Daycha 先生那边所听到的、所学到的呢，这个方法呢，来介绍给台湾的农民。那刚刚 Daycha 一直在讲这个微生物菌，我想大家已经觉得很奇怪，说到底这个微生物菌跟这个土壤有什么关系呢？因为这个土壤里面呢，一公克的土壤里面可能有上兆的微生物菌。其实我们这个地球呢，就是靠这个微生物菌的作用呢，让生命得以循环。所以它扮演一个非常重要的角色，同时呢，它也是自然界里面的一个清道夫。那我们现在就想说，如果我们的土地受到这些化肥、农药的破坏之后，我们可以用什么简单的方法来修复我们的土地？就是呢，用这个微生物菌。这个微生物菌呢，就像是你在你肚子里面的这些有益菌，它来帮助你消化、帮助你形成、帮助你转化呢这些所有的食物呢，成为你的养分。所以呢，就是在它的农法里面，它一直强调这个微生物菌，就是这个意思。那我想透过今天一个简单的一个介绍呢，就是让大家知道关于这个自然农法。同时呢，这个 Daycha 先生也非常的有心，他到台湾来1个月呢，他深入到每个地方、每个角落，那希望把这样子的农法介绍给台湾的农民，同时让他们得到一个简单的一个工具，可以呢更有效的，就像刚刚所讲的，更有效的来帮助我们的这个土地。好，谢谢。
谢谢。那另外呢，我也要请我们法律学院的另外一位教授张文珍张教授。那他所研究的领域是国际环境法、国际人道法International Humanitarian Law. Satish, I'm introducing one of my colleagues to have a brief talk about what her view about this. 那张文珍张老师，他也是我们中心的很重要的成员。好，来，张老师，请。要不要？
Thank you very much. And Dr. Kumar, I really enjoy your enlightening talk. And I think I have learned so much. So instead of just reflecting what I have been learning, I want to ask you questions, more questions to get the wisdom from you. So I think the audience here, and also including myself, disagree with you very much, right? But in our society, in the same community, certainly we have to deal with people with disagreement. For example, the students now are in the legislative yuan, our parliament, and the surrounding streets, try so hard to deal with those who fundamentally disagree. And I want to learn your wisdom from so many years of working and of trying so hard to advocating your belief, that how you persuade others, how you deal with those who fundamentally disagree with you. So that's one thing I really want to learn from you tonight, especially. And the other thing is I also, because as you talk, and then I begin to reflect what I have been doing every day. In the law school particularly, this discipline is dealing with only the brain, and not only brain, the very hard IC code law, right? It is really this law that students are now fighting against, right? And we have been trying so hard for our students to conceptualize these laws, to try to live with the regime, right? And then sort of reform from within. And I also would like to learn from your wisdom what you have been living for past years. Because I think in your experience, you must have been having all these fights with the law, with either unjust laws or unjust regimes, right? And what's your concept? What's your understanding of law, right? What would be the function and the meaning of the law that could work for you? So we certainly know there are a lot of laws that work against our interests. For example, 2 weeks ago, many of our law faculties, we have to walk on the street to protest for the nuclear power plant. But we are the law professors, and we have all the justices at the highest courts of this country who render the ruling against us, right? So I really want to learn these two things, right? How you have been in so many years dealing with who fundamentally disagree with you, right? How will you deal with the disagreement? And second, how do you feel about the law, right? So do the law always go against you, against your values, beliefs, or in some cases you may find law might surprisingly work for you. And if there's any such case, what would be such case? And what would be that kind of enlightening that can give us as a law professors and law students continuing to live in with confidence? Thank you very much.
Thank you. When you have someone who disagree with you, that you should look as a good challenge, good opportunity. If everybody agrees with you, it becomes boring. So when somebody disagrees with you, that gives you an opportunity to sharpen your communication, sharpen your argument, sharpen your way of presenting your case. That is a wonderful opportunity. So I would say welcome disagreement. When you have a disagreement about major things, particularly coming to the law, there are some useful laws, but laws always reflect the culture of the time, culture of society at a particular moment in history. The human-made laws are not the natural laws. They are not the eternal laws, not the divine laws. They are made by humans. And therefore, when they have lived their life, useful life, they must be changed. So, for example, racial discrimination in America was illegal, that black and white cannot use the same school. Blacks and whites cannot use the same restaurant. I was victim of that law. I went to meet Martin Luther King. And after that, one of my friends invited me to a restaurant. And it was whites only restaurant. And I was thrown out of that restaurant at a gunpoint. Read the whole story in my book. So at that time, what should you do? You cannot accept that law. And you have to fight and stand up. Martin Luther King and all the people who ran the campaign and the movement to bring an end to racial discrimination. And therefore they had to go to jail. They had to break the law. We have responsibility to break the unjust law and take the consequence for it. Mahatma Gandhi was a law in India that everybody must pay tax on salt. And poor people use salt, but they have no money. And paying tax on salt is a tax on everybody. So Mahatma Gandhi said, this is a very unjust law. He broke it. He made salt, and he was arrested, and he was brought to the court. And he was a lawyer himself, so he was pleading for his own case. And he said, I'm a lawyer. I plead guilty. I have broken your unjust law. So, my lord, the justice was sitting there, white justice, Englishman. My lord, give me the harshest punishment you have in your books. Harshest punishment. I plead guilty. And then the magistrate says, Mr. Gandhi, I'm afraid I have to send you to jail. And he said, my lord, I will go to jail like a groom goes to wedding chamber. That is the spirit of breaking the unjust law. So you have a complete compassion in your heart. Mahatma Gandhi said, I have nothing against the British. British are my friends. I respect them, I have compassion for them. But I am fighting against the system. So when I went to the parliament here, and I was given this wonderful opportunity to go in the parliament and speak to the students. And I said, you are fighting a good cause. Because it's a democratic right for every citizen to participate in such a process of international treaties. And you are fighting a good cause. But remember, you are not fighting against any person. You are not fighting against President Ma or anybody other minister or prime minister. You are fighting against the system. So in your heart, like Martin Luther King or Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela, in your heart, you have a compassion. You have a love. You have a kindness to even those who are imposing unjust law, like the British did or like the whites did in America. So you have a compassion, you have a love. This is a power of nonviolence. But power of nonviolence practiced by the power of the people. In my view, America is not superpower. Or China is not superpower. Or Russia is not superpower. The superpower for me is power of the people. People are the superpower. And their power is true power when it is enforced with the power of nonviolence. So you break the unjust law with the power of nonviolence. And you take the consequence. You have to be strong. I mean, the struggle of nonviolence is not for the cowards. It's a weapon of the brave. You have to be brave. In the parliament, students asked me this question. And I said, Gandhi was beaten. Martin Luther King was beaten. Nelson Mandela was in jail for 27 years. If you are here as leaders of transformation, leaders of a revolution, leaders of democratic rights, then you have to be brave. And you have to be committed. And you have to have courage in your heart. Nonviolence cannot be practiced by cowards. It has to be courageous. So I said this to the students, and they appreciated. They gave me good applause after my talk. And so I say, if you find unjust law, create a public opinion and bring people together. So Mahatma Gandhi did that. He marched from his ashram to the sea. And on the way, he talked about it with people. And he created a big public opinion. And so 10 people started, then 20, then 30, then 50, then 100, then 500. And by the time he reached the sea to make the salt, to break the law, there was 10,000 people. And when 10,000 people got arrested all over the country, there was a revolution. And the British had to withdraw the law and stop taxing on salt. And the same way, Martin Luther King had a dream. He had a dream. He said, I have a dream. He did not have a nightmare. He had a dream. And we all have to dream for a good society, for a sustainable future, where nature and people, humans and nature and culture and people live in harmony together. And that is a path of revolutionaries. We are on the path of revolutionaries, but non-violent revolutionaries. So I would say, if you have disagreement, welcome disagreement. And sharpen your communication. And then you faced with unjust law, break it. Civil disobedience, that is my advocacy. But break it with non-violence and accept the consequence of breaking the law. Then you will be able to change the law. And law must be changed. What is made by humans can be changed by humans. These laws are not eternal. They can be changed, and they must be changed if they are unjust, if they are exploitative of nature or of people.